Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up, wake up, it's time to rise and sing the praise of Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
It's time to rise,
To sing, to shout, to bring him all your heart. He'll do the bigger part if you will only make a start. It's time to give him all your heart, and only you can make a start.
Wake up!
Have a magnificent moment, everyone. Welcome to our newest 5-day devotional series for the youth and the new generation, entitled the Fresh Youth Series. This is another sub-production of the 7 Minutes with God inspirational devotionals. In this series, we will be tackling ideal suggestions, experiential motivations to the youth of our generation. However, these inspirational devotionals is not only for the youth but also for all who are interested, especially as we aim to understand and relate with the present-day young bloods. So with special invitation, I am encouraging all teenagers, adolescents, and young people to witness God's devotional that will enhance your youthful greatness. Again, this is your new devotional series, The Fresh Youth, and this is the third offering of the 5-part series that will inspire all of us every morning. E in Fresh stands for education. That is why our topic for this moment is the educated youth, and you will be joined by your online inspirational evangelist and youth advisor, Brother Noy Gonzaga. Let us prepare our souls with a biblical insight found in 2 Timothy 2:15, and it says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman who need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." This is a serious statement from God, dear friends. And if you noticed, it is a command imperative, and that connotes underlying urgency. So that we will not dangle too much and we can manage our time, let us focus our attention to 4 common questions in education. Question number 1. What is the value of education to young people? Question number 2. Why will parents struggle for their young ones' education? Question number 3. What is the plus factor in an educated youth? And question number 4, can education be a source of security? Education is one of the greatest foundational teaching of our church, especially to people who are groomed to be the future leaders of faith, which are the youth of today and the leaders of tomorrow. Even the Bible is not silent about education. Let us try to dissect our biblical gem which was mentioned earlier. The frontline statement is, "Study to show thyself approved unto God." Now, let us first have a little review with correct usage in English. Here, the word study indicates that the sentence is imperative. There are actually 3 kinds of imperative. Number 1, request. Number 2, suggestion. And number 3, command. In request, there is no force applied, and self-will is highly given opportunity. That is why there is the presence of the words please or kindly. To introduce a request imperative, you will use these 2 words most often. Example for this is, please study. Here it sounds like it is optional. Now with regards to suggestion imperative, these statements are introduced by words like can we or shall we. These words are actually suggestive of choices or options also. Still, there is no direct inclination of strictness, as it only gives a better choice and not a so better choice, meaning the choices of the better and the worse. However, The last being a command imperative, here there are no word introductions and it uses directly the verb. Example is study. If you noticed, it has an element of seriousness, no joke, very strict, and really for compliance. This is the attribute of a command imperative. It means urgency and real business. So here, the word is directly a verb and it has no introduction of whatever, like request and suggestion. It's a direct, strong verb which means importance, urgency. So when God said, study, He is not requesting the youth population. He is not even providing options or suggestions for you dear young people. He is giving an absolute command. And that means when you do study, there will be greater results for you, and doing the opposite will mean an occurrence of negativity in life. This is the very proof that even the Bible sees education as the best preparation for an independent and productive youth ahead. Now let us go to focal point number 1. What is the value of education to young people? Well, there is one value that needs to be emphasized, although there are really many. It is the value of equality and fairness. In gaining education, the rich and the poor youth gains access to the same opportunity. Education in this aspect is a personal ownership without tax and danger of robbery. That is why we hear parents always saying, "We may not be rich, but if there is one thing we want to leave to you, we want you to have," referring to the youth, it is education. That is the key to a successful future. Eventually, parents realize that in education, there is no need for stratification or influences. You just need to have interest and desire to be successful in the educational arena. So remember, dear young minds, be educated. It gives you a wonderful chance of a fair future. Why? Because you will have the same opportunity of work as with the other social strata. Focal point number 2. Why will parents struggle for their children's education or for their young ones' education? Well, the simple truth is they want their children to have a better life than what they are having now. Parents always see education as the best passage for a stable and secured life for their children's future, for their young ones' future. That is why, youth in the tertiary level, you are almost done. It is not the logical time not to prioritize or treat your educational opportunities with elements of non-seriousness. Today, education becomes very scarce because when youth was given the chance or were given the chance to study, they treated it with an ounce of a happy-go-lucky setup. Thus, ending unsuccessful, having vices, and even deterred from morality. Dear youths, your chance of education now is the key to the golden opportunity in the future. Focal point number 3. Is there a plus factor for an educated youth? Well, aside from a very promising career and stable life ahead in the future, the lovability of a person increases. Wow, what is that? The lovability or the capacity to be loved. What do we mean by this? Well, a beautiful person is already one that is so admirable in terms of physical admiration. However, a beautiful person who is educated is surely to be treated like an endangered species option by the lovers around them. This is short of saying that the value of a person doubles or triples when they have a diploma to show, proving that they are educated. Another plus factor for youth who are educated is the connotation of morality. Learned and educated young minds knows what is right and what is wrong, which is the foundation of morality. The less educated you are, the greater will be the chance of having morality issues along the journey to the future. Focal point number 4. Can education be a source of security? Well, the absolute answer is yes. Having been formally educated assures a youth of a future that has a remuneration of a professional employee. That in itself is already a threshold of security. Education will also mean qualification. That means that the more educated you are, the better will be your qualifications and the greater will be your chances to land at the jobs that will secure your economic and professional future. The truth is, even if you are a hard worker, but if you have not earned a baccalaureate degree, chances are you will still find a work that will focus more on the skills rather than the professional attainment that one person possesses. Thus, there is no greater security for youth of today in the future that they face than to attain an educational degree. Dear young minds of today, if you have been blessed by the opportunity of education, do not waste it, for not all people have the chance to be in a school. Why? Due to poverty and life struggles. If you have the chance to be in school, consider that a privilege of having a brighter future. There is no shortcut to greatness and progressive life than to assure oneself of education. Much better yet if we can get Christian education, for in this system, Christ is the center of all learning, and that will mean getting closer to the feet of God and being in the right direction of hoping for a future that leads to salvation and love for the master education of all times, Jesus Christ. Dear youth of today, young minds of today, young blood of today, study to show yourself approved unto God, approved unto the society, approved unto the standards of professionalism, approved in the tenets of church discipleship, and surely your life will be in the right direction. This is your 7 Minutes with God special series entitled The Fresh Youth. F in fresh or E in fresh stands for education. It is my hope and advocacy that youths and other members of society were benefited with God's messages through these inspirational devotionals. Let us always remember the youth is always considered the future of our country, and they will also be the greatest missionaries of our churches someday. That is why, in their quest to live a normal life, they should be guided in a godly way. To the youth of this generation, remember God is commanding you to study. May you live a life that is full of learning as a response and fulfillment of God's command imperative. God bless everyone.
Wake up, wake up, it's time to rise and sing the praise of Jesus. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
It's time to
To
rise,
rise, to sing, to shout, to bring him all your heart. He'll do the bigger part if you will only make a start.
Wake up! Wake up!